Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is part 2 of the Spongebob series. I did Patrick in my last video with my non-dominant hand. I will have that video linked down below in the description. So for today, I am just going to be doing my other hand with Spongebob and Patrick. Just as the other hand, I do have NailzByDev's medium square full cover nail tips on, and I have already prepped them for the gel polish manicure. These are the main colors I'm going to be using for the nail design. These are from the newest release collection from NailzByDev. This first one here is called Lemon Freeze, and this is a gorgeous summery yellow color. For the two middle nails, I am going to be using the color Candy Kisses. This is a gorgeous shimmery lavender color. I honestly felt like this color was going to be a little bit harder to mix into a nail design just because I typically don't lean towards this type of color for my nail art. But this color absolutely perfectly matched the reference photo that I was going by for this nail design. I will have the Instagram account of the inspo linked down below. As I said in my last video, this color can be used by itself or as a topper for other colors. I felt like this color was so much prettier once I put it on my nail. I actually really loved it a little bit more than I thought I would. Then moving on to the index and thumbnail, these two nails are going to be the same yellow color. After I finished the first layer of gel polish on all of the nails, I did go ahead and cure under my Kiara Sky purple nail lamp for 60 seconds. Dev's gel does cure under LED for 30 seconds, but a lot of the times I just like to cure for 60. I'm going ahead and adding a second layer of gel polish to all of the nails just to make sure I have the perfect color coverage of these colors. Next, I am taking the color Sugar Mama, which is a really pretty bubblegum pink color, and I was planning to do a 2-color ombre on all of the yellow nails. But this did not end up working. So what I was trying to do was paint half of the nail with the pink gel polish, then taking Dev's As If ombre brush, I was trying to ombre that color into the yellow. I know Dev does this so effortlessly, but I could not get it to work for me, and pretty much what I figured out was my brush was not quite as fluffy as it should be. Apparently there was still a little bit of product in the brush. I have to try to clean it a little bit better to get this brush to ombre better for me. Quite honestly, I struggle really bad with ombres anyways, so I don't exactly blame the brush. It is definitely my own fault that I cannot ombre gel polish. I ended up attempting to ombre the colors like this about 4 times before I got too frustrated and just stopped. So then I just decided to take my airbrush machine to do the ombre, since that is a little bit easier for me. Like I said, I just cannot ombre gel polish for the life of me. So again, I'm just taking the color Sugar Mama and placing a decent amount of this product in the bottom of the little container. Then taking Kiara Sky's pure acetone, I'm going to mix in a little bit of this. For this ratio, I did use about half and half. Please don't use a brush. I actually ruined this one mixing the gel polish with the acetone. I am just taking one of my black gloves and I'm cutting off the nail portion for the yellow nails, just because I want to be able to airbrush the nails and not make a big mess on my skin. I kind of thought to try using the peel off base coat on my skin around the nails, but I feel like that would still be quite messy and I actually couldn't find it. So I did just decide to use some gloves. So my first attempt was very out of focus, and also it didn't turn out that well. You guys know I just got this airbrush machine and I haven't exactly perfected my techniques or anything yet. I was getting a little bit of separation in the gel polish color, so I wiped it off and tried again. Like I said in my last airbrush video, the technique for this is actually to do multiple layers, because if you add too much, it will start separating the color and it will not give you a flawless ombre. So doing very thin layers and curing in between each layer is definitely the key for getting a flawless ombre with the airbrush. So like I said, I am curing in between each layer of the gel polish ombre. For this set of nails, I did about 3 layers just to make sure I had the perfect pink color for the tip of the nail. I did this to all 3 of the yellow nails. In my reference photo, it wasn't a 2-color ombre like this, but I wanted to do this type of design for the manicure. So here are how the nails are looking so far. Absolutely love how the ombre turned out. let's go ahead and start painting Patrick. For Patrick's skin, I will be using the color Peaches and Cream. This is the same one that I used for the other hand. So I tried to do like a cute little transition with the sketch of Patrick, but you can't really see the sketch. So this is just what it looks like. This is a very light guide for me to know where to place my colors. Starting with Peaches and Cream and my 9mm liner brush, I'm just going to go ahead and start with color blocking. This is basically just coloring all the areas of the nail design with the color that needs to go there. The edges of color blocking do not have to be perfect because after doing all of the color blocking, you will go in with your outline, which will perfect all of the edges. I really like NailzByDev's gel polish because they're such a good consistency. You can definitely do nail art with them very easily. The consistency is perfect. It's not going to be running all over your nail as you're trying to do the nail art, and also it's really pigmented as well. So for most cases, you will only need one layer of this. It just depends on what character you're doing and what color is underneath the nail. But from my experience, whenever I'm doing characters like this, one layer is just fine. Once I've put down his skin color, I did go ahead and cure that. Now I'm taking a dotting tool and NailzByDev's white gel liner, and I'm going to go ahead and do his eyes. I am so obsessed with NailzByDev's gel liners. They are extremely pigmented. They're so easy to work with. I definitely 10 out of 10 recommend that you guys try her gel liners for nail art. I have no affiliation with NailzByDev right now. I am not an ambassador. She did not send me these products. I just really love her brand. So if you are on the fence about trying her products, I definitely recommend them. I'm also going to take the color Oops, I Did It Again, which is a primary red color, and we're going to fill in his mouth. Once I filled in the mouth, I did go ahead and cure. Now I'm taking the gel liner color Strawberry Milk, and I'm going to go ahead and draw on his tongue. Again, like I said in my last video, for the tongue you don't need to add any details because we will do that with the black liner. Now taking Baddest Black, which is a super pigmented black gel liner, I'm going to go ahead and start doing the outline. The first thing that I did was fill in the back of his mouth. This is like the throat area. This is just a little circle in the corner of his mouth. I am just moving on to outlining the tongue as well as around his mouth. The outline for the eyes is extremely difficult. I suck so bad at outlining circles. It's just very difficult to me. So I ended up doing most of that off camera. Now that I have the eyes outlined, I am just taking a dotting tool to do his pupils. And the most important part of Patrick is his eyebrows, so we're gonna go ahead and do that. Like I said in my last video, his eyebrows are so easy. It's just two lines that do connect in the center. Do make sure to keep the eyebrow extremely straight. Once I finished with the black gel, I did go ahead and cure for 60 seconds. Now taking the color Bare It All and Mocha Magic, I'm just going to place these two colors down on my palette. Using the color Bare It All, I'm just going to go ahead and draw on this spoon. This sadly got cut off by the edge of the nail, which honestly, I kind of wish I would have done him a little bit smaller so you can see the spoon a little bit better. We are not drawing the entire spoon because it is covered with ice cream. I did go ahead and cure that. Now I'm taking the color Mocha Magic just to slightly outline the spoon. This gave it a lot more detail and made it look a little bit more like a spoon. I almost forgot, but I am going back with the white gel liner and I'm going to do the single tooth in the middle of his mouth. For the most part, Patrick doesn't have teeth, but sometimes when he acts more like a child or like a baby, he does appear with a tooth. And in the reference photo, he does have a tooth, so I am just drawing that out. At this point, I'm just going to stop telling you guys every time I cure just because I feel like it's a little bit repetitive. I pretty much just cure after every single color. Now taking the newest addition to my collection, the color Sugar Mama, I'm going to go ahead and draw out the ice cream on top of his head. As you guys can see, I did leave two little indents on his head, and this is where the drips of ice cream are going to go. I really don't like to layer gel polish unless I have to, because then it starts making your nail art look lumpy after the top coat. I honestly hate when my nail art looks lumpy, so I'm just trying to make sure that this stays as flat as possible. Pretty much this area of ice cream is just a circle with little drips coming down. It's honestly really easy to draw. I'm also going to be painting the ice cream that he is sitting in. the ice cream on his spoon, and also the drips around his mouth. Now I'm taking this darker pink gel polish color. This is from Temu. I'm going to place some of this down on the palette. I'm also going to use a little bit of the black shading gel. I'm going to mix the black shading gel, Sugar Mama, and the dark pink gel polish from Temu all together to create a darker shade of pink. This is the color that I'm going to use to outline the ice cream. Sometimes characters are outlined in all black, and other times they're outlined in a darker color than the color that was used for the actual thing that you're outlining. And in this case, it is just outlined with a slightly darker color. I feel like a lot of characters that are outlined with a slightly darker color just typically tend to look a little bit better. It does just depend on what character you're drawing, but a lot of the times outlining with a slightly darker color looks a little bit better than outlining with straight black. So at this point, I'm not exactly sure how I got this exact color. It does look like I added a little bit something extra, maybe a little bit more of the color Sugar Mama. I'm honestly a little unsure. But this color is basically a mixed color. It's not a straight gel polish color. I'm using this one to outline Patrick. Looking back at the nails now, I do kind of wish I made this slightly darker, just because once I top coated the nail, it kind of blended in with his skin tone a little bit more than I wanted. But honestly, I'm not too mad about it. It's an accurate color, it's just not quite dark enough. I'm also going to be using that color for his freckles. So here's how the nail is looking so far with all of the details added. I was about to apply the non-white gel top coat, and then I was like, wait, let me add one more detail to this nail design. So now I'm taking NailzByDev's highlight gel and using the 9mm again. I'm just going to add a little bit of highlights to the ice cream. It's basically a transparent-ish white color, and it just adds a small touch of highlight to whatever you're painting. I did go ahead and cure that, and now I am finishing up the nail with the non-white gel top coat. Top coating nail art is by far my favorite part. I feel like it just blends all of the lines together and makes everything look very smooth. I also really love NailzByDev's gel top coat. After applying the top coat, I did go ahead and cure, and this is the Patrick nail. I was so obsessed with how this turned out. I feel like it looks so good. So let's go ahead and move on to the next nail. So for all of the ombre nails, it is going to be the exact same nail design. I am taking the color Lemon Freeze, and with this gel polish color, I'm going to be painting out the flowers in the sky. Technically, it's the ocean and not the sky, but you get exactly what I'm talking about. These flowers are hard and simple to do at the exact same time. You just want to draw flower petals that are very rounded. There's no sharp points in the flower petals at all. I'm going to be doing about 5 of these. Once I have the flower petals, I did just draw a little circle outline in the center for the center of the flower. Then going towards the base of the nail, which is the yellow side, I am taking the color Sugar Mama and I'm going to do another flower. Of course, for this, you do want to use alternating colors so the flowers do stand out. After painting the flowers, I did go back with the glossy gel top coat to top coat the entire nail. I did this exact process to the pinky and thumbnail as well. Moving on to Spongebob, I am using the gel liner color All That. This is a primary yellow gel liner color. As you guys can see, I did attempt my little sketch on the nail. Again, the pencil didn't really show up, but I can see it well enough to know where to place my colors. So using this yellow gel liner, I'm just going to go ahead and fill in the entire area of Spongebob. I feel like I was a little bit more nervous to do Spongebob than Patrick because Patrick is a little bit more of a simple character. Spongebob is a little bit more detailed. I feel like you can easily mess up Spongebob. I didn't quite mention this, but after doing the flowers, I did go to sleep, and this is like the next day, so technically this nail set has taken me 2 days so far. I will be honest, I did not time doing this nail set, but I have to say I feel like this one actually didn't take that long. 5 or 6 hours if I had to guess, but honestly this one felt like so much shorter than all of the other character nail designs that I've done previously. I am just kind of hoping that that means I am improving on my speed of drawing characters. So here's the base of Spongebob. It kind of looks like cheese. Now I'm going in with the color Sugar Mama to do the ice cream. So one thing I really love about doing characters on nails is you can skip around on the nail design. You don't have to finish one area before you move on to the next area. I feel like that makes it a little bit less boring to move around on the character as you're painting them. Also, if you're getting a little stressed out about doing a certain area, you can just move on to a different area and come back once you've cooled down a little bit. I do kind of get frustrated easily around the facial features because I know that's the most important part about doing characters on nails. So moving around on the nail during the design just kind of prevents me from getting frustrated and throwing it in the trash. Going back with the Temu gel polish color, I'm going to go ahead and draw out his tongue. His tongue is sticking very far out because he is licking the spoon of ice cream. Now taking the gel liner, oops, I did it again, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the back of his mouth and also outline around his tongue. Now taking the white gel liner and my dotting tool, I'm going to go ahead and draw on his eyes. I don't know if you guys noticed this with Patrick or not, but for Spongebob you can clearly see that I'm leaving a little bit of yellow going in towards his eye. This is basically his cheek because he's smiling. He is so happy eating his ice cream with Patrick that his cheek kind of does cover into his eye. I'm also going to be switching back to the 9mm for his teeth. These are super easy. They are just very tiny squares side by side. Do make sure to leave a little space for his gap. Now going back with the color All That and the black shading gel, I am going to mix these two colors together to get a darker yellow color. This color is going to be used for his sponge holes and also to outline the character. Once again, just like Patrick, I really wish that I made this a little bit darker for the character outline. I feel like that would have just made the character pop a little bit more, especially for Spongebob. Patrick, it does look okay, but Spongebob, it definitely needed to be darker. Taking the pastel liner Cotton Candy, I am going to go ahead and draw on his irises. I almost forgot, but I am going back with the yellow and black shading gel color to outline his cheeks. I did also add a few very tiny dots inside of his cheek as well. And going back with the Temu gel polish color, I'm going to go ahead and outline the ice cream. I feel like drawing the ice cream on top of Spongebob's head with the outline was one of my favorite parts of doing this nail design. I sort of messed up the first initial line of the ice cream pile and I did end up wiping that off and fixing it. After I fixed it, it just looked so much better. I feel like this was very satisfying to me. And of course, one of the last few things that I'm doing is outlining his face. This includes his mouth, nose, and eyes. I have to say that drawing Spongebob's nose was actually kind of hard for me. I feel like drawing curves to the left is very hard for me compared to drawing curves to the right. So if Spongebob was facing the other direction, I feel like it would be a little bit easier. It does look a tiny bit off, and now that I've said something, you might notice it a tiny bit, but I feel like it's still not quite too bad. I did also kind of mess up on his eyelashes. I just wiped it off and fixed it. I went back with the gel polish color Bare It All for the spoon that he's holding, and going back with the highlight gel, I am going to go ahead and add some highlights to the ice cream. At this point, I was rushing a little bit and I didn't add any more detail to his hand. I'm a little bit upset about that. I wish I would have took 5 more minutes to finish the spoon, but that's just how it turned out. You can't even see the spoon unless you turn the nail like completely sideways, so I'm honestly not extremely worried about it. And the last step for the nail is to take the non-wipe gel top coat and go ahead and finish off the nail. And after that's cured, I'm taking my pineapple scented cuticle oil to oil up my cuticles. I felt like this was very fitting because Spongebob lives in a pineapple, and here are the nails. I am so obsessed with how these nails turned out. I love them so much. I don't know about you guys, but I watched Spongebob throughout my entire life. As always, definitely leave any character suggestions down below in the comments, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!